Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our Dracula read-along. I am your host, Monica Van Fleet. I am an independent writer and researcher based out of Philadelphia. Today, we are discussing Chapter 13 of Dracula. Chapter 13 of Dracula starts off with a continuation of Dr. Seward's diary from September 20th. He and Van Helsing are making preparations for Lucy and her mother's funeral. This duty typically would have fallen to her fiancé in Lucy's situation, but Arthur Holmwood's father has just died as well, and planning his funeral takes precedent. When Dr. Seward sees Lucy, he comments on how beautiful she looks even in death, and even an attendant with the funeral comments on page 158 of the Norton Critical Edition. "She makes a very beautiful corpse, sir. It is quite a privilege to attend on her. It's not too much to say that she will do credit to our establishment." Van Helsing's preparations of Lucy's body are a bit more curious. He brings in more garlic, he covers Lucy's mouth with a crucifix, and then covers her face with a sheet. After he does this, Van Helsing asks Dr. Seward to bring him a set of post-mortem knives. Dr. Seward responds, "Must we make an autopsy?" Van Helsing responds curiously, saying, "Yes and no. I want to operate, but not what you think. Let me tell you now, but not another word after. I want to cut off her head and take out her heart. Ah, you a surgeon, and so shocked." Dr. Seward initially objects to Van Helsing's strange demands, but Dr. Van Helsing insists that he has good reason. In the morning, though, he says that he can no longer perform the procedure because, in the night, a maid stole the crucifix off of Lucy's body. After this, a lawyer arrives to assist in settling the Westenra estate, and he tells Dr. Van Helsing and Dr. Seward that Arthur Holmwood will inherit basically everything. It's interesting to note that the Westenra's lawyer discloses that he protested Mrs. Westenra's requests for their estate, but ultimately fulfilled her demands as requested. Later, Van Helsing asks Arthur Holmwood to trust him, come what may, and asks permission to read Lucy's private letters and diary. After Dr. Seward's diary, we get another entry from Mina's journal dated September 22nd. She reveals that she and Jonathan were walking in Piccadilly after attending Mr. Hawkins' funeral, and there they see a tall, thin man that the readers know is Count Dracula. Jonathan is shocked to see the man, and it results in a reoccurrence of the symptoms of his brain fever, though later he will seem to not remember the incident at all. Because of all this, Mina decides that it is time to read his journal. Back at home, she gets a telegram from Van Helsing which reveals to her that Lucy and her mother have died. After this, we get another report from Dr. Seward's diary. On September 22nd, he says that Arthur has gone back to his estate, Ring. One of my personal favorite notes about the character of Quincy is how often other characters are proclaiming their love for him. On page 167 of the Norton Critical Edition, Dr. Seward says, "What a fine fellow is Quincy. I believe in my heart of hearts that he suffered as much about Lucy's death as any of us, but he bore himself through it like a moral Viking. If America can go on breeding men like that, she will be a power in the world indeed." Afterwards, he relates some of the details of Lucy's funeral, during which Arthur says that he felt that following the blood transfusion, he and Lucy truly were wed in the eyes of God. This is a bit awkward for the other men, as they know that each of them also provided Lucy a blood transfusion, but Arthur doesn't know this. Following this, Dr. Seward shares some concerns about odd behavior from Professor Van Helsing. Readers today are likely unaware of exactly how strange and disturbing Lucy's funeral would have been to a Victorian reader. In Lucy's time, a funeral for a woman of her station would have been an elaborate and organized affair. Readers of the day also would have been incredibly disturbed by Van Helsing's suggestions of how to treat the body, and the very disordered state of the funeral itself. Dr. Seward and Holmwood's responses are more expected, but Van Helsing's would have been considered shocking. He finds it humorous that the blood of 4 men, 5 if we consider Dracula, would, by Holmwood's standards, wed all of the men to her. He also mocks priests for reading funeral rites over a dead woman who isn't dead. Meanwhile, Dracula appears on the page again for the first time in quite a while, causing Jonathan a relapse and initiating Mina to read through his journal of Transylvania. The stage is being set and all of the players put in motion for the grand conflict between the Crew of Light and Dracula. Chapter 13 concludes with 2 newspaper clippings from the Westminster Gazette, dated September 25th. These reports detail children in Hampstead Heath have gone missing, only to return with small wounds and slightly torn throats. The children report that they were being lured by a bloofer lady or beautiful lady, and the children seem to consider it some sort of game. And that is the end of the chapter. This week's Substack Deep Dive article is all about the concept of the death of a beautiful woman. And next week, Van Helsing and Dr. Seward will join forces with Arthur and Quincy to investigate the truth of Lucy's death.